Welcome back. Friday morning, 7:10 is the time right now. 8 years ago, a Minneapolis woman went to Vietnam to do some volunteering, teach English. She went to a school that was once really a pigsty, made up of kids who were orphaned or abandoned. And so touched by what she saw, she decided to really try to make a difference, forming a charity that 8 years later has helped build some schools, even a dormitory for the orphan kids to live in Vietnam. And tonight they're hosting their annual fundraiser in Bloomington that I'm very privileged to be emceeing. That woman, the founder, Jerry Hirsch, joining us right now. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So it was 8 years ago. You did some teaching. What brought you to Vietnam? Why Vietnam?
Well, I figured it out sort of after the fact. My late husband was a peace activist and had made several trips to Vietnam and cared desperately about the people there. He also cared about the vets who came home and did some reconciliation work between vets and protesters.
Sure.
And I think it was sort of building on that legacy.
Something touched your heart. You wanted to do more. Tell us what you did.
Well, I went to Vietnam not knowing anybody and had a connection at the school.
And the school was just a mess. These were orphan kids, really disadvantaged kids that, frankly, they didn't have a lot of hope.
Right. Yeah. Well, the school offered what hope they had. And it was very, very modest. Parts of it were falling down. It was dirty. It was dark. But the kids were kids, you know, and fun and joyful, and they laughed and played, and so I taught English there, but I realized at the time that my job was really not just to teach English, but to find resources for the school.
And over the course of the 8 years, you've held fundraisers. You've brought in upwards of $1 million. You've built a couple schools and really changed a lot of kids' lives.
Lots of kids' lives, lots.
So there's a fundraiser tonight. Tell us about that.
Fundraiser at the Sofitel.
In Bloomington.
In Bloomington. There will be Vietnamese children's dance group. We'll have, you know, good food and silent auction, live auction.
And how is that money used?
We send it, almost all of it, to Vietnam, to the school. That pays for the new schools, for the teachers, for not just the classroom and the education, but the kids get uniforms, which may be the only clothes they'll get.
Really gives them a chance in life.
Absolutely, because particularly with the uniforms, they look like any other kid in Vietnam because they all wear uniforms to school.
Well, I emceed last year. I guess I did all right because you've asked me to come back. So we're excited to do it again tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. It's called Bridges to Learning, the program. We have all the information, in fact, on our website. So if you head to kstc45.com, you can learn a whole lot more. Jerry, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We're going to have a good time tonight.
Okay. All right.
Back to you guys.